Hello guys, this is Daniel again, and today I'm doing a review of my own 2022 Subaru WRX Sport. This is the Canadian model, the Canadian Sport trim level. So let's start with some exterior impressions. So I've owned the car for almost a year now and about 10,000 miles. And I gotta say, the exterior has grown on me. So at first when they came out, we were really shocked that Subaru would put these claddings around the wheel wells. At the end of the day, this used to be more of a tuner street car that was kind of just one color, blocky, and that's what people liked about it. So when Subaru put these cladding, these black plastic pieces, some people were calling it a cross-track or a crossover or whatnot, and it is what it is, as they say. But I gotta say that I think for me and for most people that have looked at the car, the looks kind of fit the car now. And if these were body colored, not sure that I would have liked it that much more, and maybe I would have actually missed this area. But that's my impression now. So long story short, I have grown to like it. However, I did want to modify some things, and especially in the back. So the back, this bumper, if you can imagine it just bare without my some of my modifications, like this exhaust finisher, the aftermarket exhaust that stick out more, and the third brake light. Without those, it is quite plain and just one color plastic. So a lot of people paint this area of the top of the bumper and the side right here, so that looks quite nice. I was considering doing that as well, but I find that with just some modifications, you can really you can make it so that your eyes really travel elsewhere, and it kind of balances off the darkness of the bumper. So other than the accessories that I just mentioned, I also have the wolf sticker here, and by the way, that's from a Crosstrek commercial from a couple of years ago, as well as overlays on the tail lights. So there used to be a couple of colors. There used to be kind of like white and the orange there for the amber the amber like lane switching lights, but now I've got the red overlay there, so looks a bit more uniform now with the color of the car. Of course, that would work only on a red car. On almost any other color, you probably just want to go with a dark black overlay to make it look better. But anyways, that looks better than stock. And so I think with those, just a couple of those modifications, especially when the lights are on and the third brake light is on, this actually looks great. And of course, there's always the option to apply some paint in the future if I do want to. Other than that, I also did feel at first that the wheels kind of sit in the wheel wells a bit too far in. And so a couple of things that I've done are to get 19-inch wheels, just a little larger, and then I also have spaced them out a bit from the rotor. You can see here, this is the silver ring is a 20mm spacer. So I have one on each wheel. So now they sit much more flush and actually a little bit outside of the wheel well. So I think that looks quite a bit sportier, gives it a more aggressive stance. And if you wanted to forego those rings, those spacers, and you wanted to do it in another way, you can also just get aftermarket wheels that naturally have an offset and kind of sit out a bit more. But I think that's something that was lacking with the car at first visually. The wheels going a bit too much in, and then, you know, maybe just too much black plastic around here. We still want to see some paint. We still want to have the car look premium. So that was my solution. It's also generally an OEM solution because the exhaust finishers are from Subaru, and then the axle back is looks like an OEM plus solution, pretty close to the original exhaust tips that are there. Even the wheels, these are taken from an older, well, not that old, maybe a 2019 or 2018 WRX STI. Those were the factory rims. So I think if you do some things like that, you can keep the car looking like factory, but improved a bit more. So that's the exterior. Those are some of the things that were bugging me. Some of the things that I really like is the front. The front, I think, looks better than the previous generation. It looks more modern now. Somehow with the shape of it, the way it comes together, it doesn't bulge as much, and it's kind of just a more streamlined and a more modern look than the outgoing model. All right, so that's the outside. Now let's go inside. Let's start with the back here. So one of the awesome things about WRX is how practical it is. The trunk here is quite large. I mean, maybe it might even be deeper than a Crosstrek or about the same. Of course, it doesn't have the height because it's not a hatchback, but it's a generous opening here, and you can see how far this goes in. You can easily fit 3, maybe even 4 golf bags in there without much of an issue. So that's one great thing about the WRX, is just how practical it is. So for a sports car, you're just getting a ton of space, and in the back as well. Let's open it, and I'm using the proximity key. I've got it on me, so it's just a tap on the inside of the handle. And in the back here, a lot of space. There's just plenty of headroom, plenty of legroom. And in this new version, Subaru placed the USBs right here in the back, which is a very welcome change, as well as for the higher trim levels, you now get heated seats on the sides. Mine doesn't have it, but the top trim level will. So you'll have your back outboard seats here heated. Now, I've tested this with my parents. I've had them sit in the back. We went for a nice drive, and there's no complaints. Actually, they liked it quite a bit, so I think that test basically says it all. And in the WRX, you're getting some creature comforts that might not have in other cars, like that middle armrest, and again, the heated seats for the top of the line, the top trim. And these seats are reclined a fair amount. They're not overly reclined, but they're not upright like you get in many subcompacts, even some subcompact SUVs. And I think that's great. It makes this space very, very comfortable to be in. So if you have a family or you're driving people around, friends, then this is a great solution if you also wanted to have a sports car. Checking the interior here, same thing for the front. The front 2 seats were redesigned from the previous generation. They're wider, quite a bit more comfortable. And you know, how many new cars can you still get a manual transmission like this, 6-speed manual, while having all the creature comforts and all the benefits of a brand new car? This is also brand new redesign, so the interior here has improved vastly over the previous model. We don't have the dials there for the climate controls. Most of them are inside. We do still have the buttons on the side to go up and down in temperature, but overall this is a welcome design. Your Google Maps and Apple CarPlay will show much better on this versus the outgoing model. This fascia has also been redesigned and improved. Nowadays, when people look at this car on the inside, it looks like it could be, I wouldn't quite say luxury, but something quite upscale, and which you couldn't really say about the outgoing version. Now, performance-wise, pretty awesome still. So it comes stock with 271 horsepower. Mine has a chip. It is tuned, not too crazy of a tune, and it's just an off-the-shelf tune from Cobb Access Sport, but it is tuned to 93 octane fuel. And my estimate is it gets closer to 300 horsepower, up from 271. And that is one of the benefits in this car. Unlike the previous generation, it's quite easy to tune with just an ECU flash, without having to put many supporting mods on it. In fact, I still have the stock airbox, and all stock components would work with that tune that I used. So a lot of that is thanks to this engine right here. So this is a 2.4 liter boxer engine, which is larger than the outgoing 2-liter boxer engine. We also now have a larger intercooler to handle all of that. And basically the end result is that when you're driving, you feel like the turbo isn't kicking as hard. It's not kicking in right away as the outgoing 2-liter turbo motor, as the outgoing WRX. So instead of the turbo doing all the work, most of the work is on the engine itself, the naturally aspirated portion of it. And then of course, if you use the accelerator, you're going pedal to the metal, that's where the turbo kicks into action and you're getting even more power. And the result there is that power just lasts throughout the RPM band, and it really makes you want to take this car all the way to Redline, which is just over 6,000 RPM. So performance, pretty awesome, and just the ability to tune it. So the theory is there is that the engine is quite underworked from the factory, and it just has a lot more potential in it than the outgoing engines, which were pretty much not maxed out, but it felt like they were almost maxed out from the factory on both the outgoing STI and the WRX. So this WRX is quite a bit more easy to tune. And if you do that, you really feel it come to life. I mean, I've driven the previous generation STI, and I can say that this would probably beat it, but definitely would go neck to neck with it. And the real benefit with this new platform is that it's just so easy to drive. Something about the characteristic of the new engine, as well as the transmission in it, just makes it so much easier to drive, especially in the city and especially at low RPMs. It seems like you just get the torque quite a bit sooner, whereas if you even were driving an STI at those low RPMs, you just couldn't get the the power going. You'd really need to bring it to higher RPMs to get the car running. So that's my those are my impressions of the of some of the performance components. One thing that I don't like is how light the handling is. It seems to have been made lighter than the previous generation WRX and STI for sure. We do have a dual pinion design in this car. I haven't quite seen the schematic of it or a picture, so I can't exactly describe it, but my understanding is that it's an electronic dual pinion sort of a setup, so it's supposed to be smoother, more precise, and probably just will last longer. But somehow it is tuned with the steering wheel feeling lighter than it should, and maybe that's something that can be changed with an aftermarket steering clamp down jig. I've seen those around, and I can report on that. But yeah, the steering is a little light, the power is great, transmission and overall drivability feels great. So that's quite nice. Now the chassis of the car as well is a bit more firm than the outgoing one, and definitely more than the outgoing WRX. With this car, you can take corners even faster on the highway. You're gonna get even more confidence, especially at higher speeds. That's what I find about this new WRX. And the chassis now feels similar to the rigidity of the STI in terms of the G-forces that it can take and so on. Let's turn the car on. So I'm clutching in. This turns green. I'm in neutral. Now you can probably hear the sound here. And that's another thing that makes the car great. Because it's a 2.4 liter engine, turn the AC off here. because it's a 2.4 liter engine, the sound resembles more of the EJ from the STI. It's just a louder, rumbly sound, and not as tinny as the outgoing WRX. And if you put an exhaust to it, an aftermarket exhaust, you can really make it begin to sound like a rumbly, almost STI. Not quite, because the STI has unequal length headers, but let me rev it up here and see if you can hear it. Alright, so that's with my ETS aftermarket exhaust, and that was just an axle back exhaust. So nothing special, but quite a nice sound. Way better than the outgoing generation, in my opinion. These seats, again, I mentioned before, they're a little wider, they're quite a bit more ergonomic and better than the previous generation. We also get high beam assist, which we didn't have before. So if I put on the high beams, the car will automatically lower or bring the high beams back up, depending on if there's anyone in front. And it does that using this little camera right here. So it kind of looks forward, sees if it needs the high beams or not, and helps you with that. And we also get a self-dimming mirror, which we didn't have before. So before we had just the old school mirror that you had to darken kind of manually, and so this one is self-dimming. So at nighttime it automatically dims for you. So that, the screen and the overall design here, I like better than the outgoing generation, and that's been great for me for the last almost year. The infotainment system here I've gotten used to. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's really nice to have the large screen nowadays. It's hard to go back to a small screen once you've had it, even with the climate controls being inside here. Subaru did send an update for this system, so it's a bit cleaner looking. I don't have to tap 3 times to get the into the heated seat menu. I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. You used to have to click in there to get the heated seats. You don't need to do that any longer. So that's a really nice system. And with Google Maps displaying large here, just a super nice system. So yeah, that's the interior of the newer Subaru WRX, and I have no complaints so far. After about a year of driving it, still really enjoying the car. In fact, I have it on a lease, but I may as well buy it out. That's coming out in over a year, so I still have some time. But I'll keep you guys updated, and let me know if there's anything you want to know about the WRX, if there's anything that I missed, anything specific you have a question about. I'm happy to answer. And thanks for tuning in.